This is going to go away without a vaccine. It's going to go away, and we're not going to see it again, hopefully, after a period of time.
This is the biggest influence.
Sir, why are you not wearing your mask?
Because there's no COVID.
On people like this.
And a lot of good things have come out about the hydroxy. A lot of good things have come out.
Well, I forget, hydrochloroquinic something. I can't pronounce it.
Yep, like this.
It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
You're getting the vaccine or the test?
It's right by your noses now.
The vaccine. Oh, wow.
Shouldn't we be
That's fine. Being a byproduct of Bill Gates.
And people like this. Where the anti-science crowd proclaiming to be pro-life.
There is no evidence that I can see that a pandemic exists.
There is no way, as long as I'm living, that my children are going to be injected with that.
But they won't protect it.
I'm happy to be a part of one of the biggest sports in the world, and that's the game of basketball.
Which brings us to the National Basketball Association. Could this contingent of anti-vax Trump supporters and pro-basketball players share a commonality? A Mount Rushmore player in the NBA, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, recently took part in a PSA to promote taking the COVID-19 vaccine. Current players may have a different view. The NBA's outreach to the agents of many of the league's elite players with hopes of getting stars to participate in PSAs to promote the safety and effectiveness of the vaccine has been met with a tepid response, reported ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj's reporting goes on to say the factors for apprehension include uncertainty about receiving the vaccine, reluctance of advocation, and resistance to extending favors.
Very often, the gold standard of how to really crush these outbreaks is by getting a safe and highly efficacious vaccine. We are very fortunate in that we already have 2, and likely we'll have more than that, vaccines with a very high degree of efficacy. The Moderna and the Pfizer products are 94 to 95% efficacious. Absolutely, vaccine is the answer.
There's a strong belief the league's top players, many of whom are black, can impact many more in black and brown communities which have been disproportionately impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
You know, there is some trepidation among many people in the black community in particular about taking the vaccine.
I'm gonna put it this way. Do I take Tylenol when I get a headache? Yes. Do I know what's in Tylenol? I don't know what's in Tylenol, Gail. I just know my headache's gone.
However, let's call a spade a spade. There is reason for skepticism. The Tuskegee study was a horrendous, unconscionable act from our government.
In 1932, the United States Public Health Service launched an unethical research project to examine the effects of untreated syphilis.
600 men were recruited under the false promise of free medical care. Instead, penicillin was around, but doctors on the scene gave the group placebos. Many died, others went blind or insane or experienced other more severe health complications due to them being left untreated. A whistleblower leaked to the press, and it eventually ended, but so did many lives in this ill-minded experiment. A 2005 report concluded racial and ethnic minorities receive lower quality health care than white people, even when insurance status, income, age, and severity of conditions are comparable. Systemic racism plagues the medical system. There's no doubt about it. However, these are unprecedented times, and vaccines have proven their worth. Take measles, for example. Now this reported, despite measles being deemed eliminated from the US in 2000, in 2019, 3 states experienced outbreaks, primarily spread by unvaccinated adults and children. Another example is polio, one of the most feared diseases starting in the 1950s. The reason we don't have this anymore? The mass vaccinations done by the United States government. By 1979, the US had completely eliminated it. Dr. Leroy Sims, VP and medical director of the NBA, who ran the NBA bubble to a T in Orlando, is presenting and speaking to NBA personnel, specifically players, on vaccines. Speaking with The Athletic, he said, "I am aware of what happened with Tuskegee and with Henrietta Lacks. I am aware of the higher rates of infant mortality in the Black community, the decreased rates of longevity in the Black community, the higher rates of diabetes, high blood pressure, so on and so forth. It's all of that. But at the same time, what I tell the players and people in these presentations is that we can't overlook the progress that has been made, the gains that we see. We are seeing more people of color participating in scientific trials in medicine. We're seeing positivity, and let's not overlook that. Let's all recognize that our community is one that is getting beat down by this pandemic. When we look at the data, we don't want to compound the negative effects of this pandemic by not getting vaccinated. At the same time, we have to make sure we have access to the vaccine. There's an equity question there. Those are the messages that I drive home. I respect the history. I understand the history probably more so than others. Some people, you ask them what happened with Tuskegee, they actually don't know. I know the history, I understand it, I respect it, but I'm also seeing the gains, and we have to hold on to that. We have more people now who have received a shot of the vaccine in this country than has tested positive for COVID. That is progress that I didn't see coming a year ago or 6 months ago. So that's it. We're on our way. We're on our way. Immunization is how we bring this pandemic to a close, and the fact that we're now vaccinating more people than are testing positive, that means so much. On a personal level, from a community and leadership point of view, and from a point of view of our players and our game. If you'd like to hear more thought-provoking content like TYT Sports on Facebook, and to help in my journey to keep media independent, go to tyt.com/Rick.